In the last episode, our small band of rebels had just uncovered a dark secret about the Puppeteer's true intentions for Aethereia, and we were reeling from the revelation that our planet's ancient technology held the key to unlocking a new era of harmony. But with this knowledge came a crushing realization. We were running out of time, and the Puppeteer's forces were closing in. I stood at the edge of the makeshift rebel base, gazing out into the desolate wasteland that stretched as far as the eye could see. Elara's hand on my shoulder was a gentle reminder that I wasn't alone in this fight. Nova's voice crackled through the comms device, urgent and laced with a hint of desperation. Elysium exists, Alex. A hidden enclave, buried deep within the Aethereian ruins. If you can find it, you might just uncover the secrets to rebooting our planet. My heart skipped a beat. Elysium. The very word sent shivers down my spine. I exchanged a glance with Elara and Dr. Orion. We knew that this was our chance to turn the tide. We have to move, I said, my voice firm. The three of us gathered our gear, mentally preparing for the unknown dangers that lay ahead. Dr. Orion's eyes locked onto mine. We'll need to tread carefully, Alex. The Puppeteer's minions won't hesitate to eliminate us if they get the chance. Elara nodded. We've got your back, Alex. Let's do this. As we ventured into the ruins, the air grew thick with the hum of abandoned machinery and the distant thrum of ley lines. I could feel it, the pulse of Aethereia's ancient power, calling to me like a siren's song. But we weren't alone. Rogue automatons stumbled from the shadows, their mechanical eyes glowing like embers as they lunged at us with rusted limbs. Elara took point, her rifle firing precise shots that dropped the machines without hesitation. Dr. Orion hacked into the automaton systems, overriding their programming to shut them down. I covered them, my senses on high alert as we pushed deeper into the ruins. A shriek pierced the air. A rival rebel faction, the Red Vipers, had caught wind of our presence. Their leader, a scar-faced woman named Kale, emerged from the smoke, her eyes blazing with a mix of curiosity and hostility. Alex, you're either with us or against us, Kale sneered. Her crew fanned out around her, hands on the grips of their rifles. I stood firm, though my gut twisted with unease. We're not looking for a fight, Kale, but we won't back down if you're looking for trouble. The standoff was broken by Dr. Orion, who strode forward, his hands weaving intricate patterns in the air. Ley lines, Kale. We're tracking a resonance frequency. Maybe it's the same thing you're searching for. For an instant, Kale's expression wavered. Then, her mask slipped back into place. Follow us, and we'll show you what we know. As we trailed the Red Vipers through the labyrinthine tunnels, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were walking into a trap. But with every step, the ley lines' hum grew louder, guiding us toward a destination that only Aethereia's ancient secrets could reveal. And I knew that I would stop at nothing to uncover them. The air seemed to thicken around us as we approached a hidden stronghold. Kale raised a hand, her eyes locked on something ahead. Wait, she whispered. A figure emerged from the shadows, a woman with skin like polished obsidian and eyes that shone like stars. Welcome, Alex, she said, her voice like music. I've been waiting for you. My heart skipped a beat. Who was this mysterious woman, and what did she want from us? The woman's gaze seemed to bore into my soul. You seek Elysium, but are you prepared for what lies within? I steeled myself, my hand on the grip of my rifle. I'll do whatever it takes to uncover the truth. The woman nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. Then let us begin. As she led us into the stronghold, I felt a sense of trepidation. What secrets lay hidden within these walls? And what lay ahead for us on this perilous journey? The darkness seemed to swallow us whole, and I knew that our journey was far from over. But I was ready, armed with nothing but my conviction and the determination to see this through. The woman's words echoed in my mind. You seek Elysium, but are you prepared for what lies within? I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what was to come. I was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that Elara and Dr. Orion stood by my side. The journey had just begun, and I was more determined than ever to see it through. But little did I know, a heart-wrenching loss was waiting for us just around the corner. one that would shake my resolve to the core. Previously, Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion uncovered a dark secret about the Puppeteer's true intentions for Aethereia, and learned about a hidden enclave called Elysium, where ancient technologies and forbidden knowledge lie waiting. They embarked on a perilous journey to find Elysium, confronting rogue automatons, rival rebel factions, and the Puppeteer's minions. As we ventured deeper into the stronghold, the mysterious woman's words still lingered in my mind. You seek Elysium, but are you prepared for what lies within? The air was thick with tension, and I could sense that we were on the cusp of something monumental. Suddenly, the woman's eyes snapped toward the entrance, her expression grave. "It's too late," she whispered. "They've found us." The sound of rifles and screams erupted from the tunnel, growing louder by the second. Our small band of rebels spun around, ready to face whatever was coming our way. Orion's eyes locked onto the woman. "What have you led us into?" He growled. Previously, Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion discovered the dark secret of the Puppeteer's intentions for Aethereia, and learned about the hidden enclave holding ancient technologies and forbidden knowledge. They embarked on a perilous journey to find Elysium, facing rogue automatons, rival rebel factions, and the Puppeteer's minions. As the sound of rifles and screams drew closer, I gripped my rifle tightly, adrenaline pumping through my veins. The woman's eyes locked onto mine, a hint of apology flashing across her face before she vanished into the chaos. "We need to move now," Elara shouted as a wave of automatons burst into the tunnel, their cold, metallic eyes fixed on us. Orion unleashed a barrage of laser blasts, taking down several automatons. While I covered our rear, trying to hold off the swarm, Elara sprinted forward, her agility allowing her to dodge the automaton's attacks as she made her way toward the entrance. "We need to clear a path," she yelled, her voice echoing off the walls. I nodded and we pushed forward, our movements synchronized as we fought to stay alive. Suddenly, the tunnel behind us fell silent, the automatons halting their pursuit. We froze, sensing something was off. And then, a menacing figure emerged from the shadows, the leader of the rival rebel faction, known only as Scar. Previously, Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion uncovered the dark secrets of the Puppeteer's intentions and learned about the hidden enclave Elysium, and embarked on a perilous quest to find it, facing rogue automatons, rival rebel factions, and the Puppeteer's minions. As Scar's cold, calculating gaze locked onto mine, I instinctively raised my rifle, bracing for impact. The air was heavy with tension, the silence between us palpable. Suddenly, Scar's eyes flickered towards the entrance where Elara stood frozen, her eyes fixed on something behind us. I followed her gaze, my heart sinking as I saw Dr. Orion lying on the ground, a pool of blood spreading from his motionless body. "No!" Elara screamed, rushing towards Orion as I instinctively raised my rifle to take aim at Scar. But before I could fire, Scar vanished into the shadows, leaving us with the ominous message, "Elysium will never be yours." With Dr. Orion's life hanging in the balance, Elara and I rushed to his side, our panic and fear momentarily replaced by a sense of focus as we fought to save his life. The tunnel's silence was broken only by the sound of Orion's ragged breathing and our own frantic whispers as we tried to stem the bleeding. As we worked, the weight of our recent discoveries and the price we were paying for our quest hung heavy in the air. The image of Dr. Orion's lifeless body, coupled with the cryptic message from Scar, made it clear that we were running out of time. The stakes had never been higher and the price of failure had never been more dire. But even in the midst of chaos and despair, I knew that we couldn't afford to give in to our fears. I looked at Elara, her eyes locked onto mine, and I knew that she felt the same. We had to push on, no matter the cost. For Dr. Orion's sake, for Aethereia's sake, we had to keep moving forward. With a newfound sense of determination, I looked at Elara and nodded. "We need to get out of here and find Elysium. We can't let Scar or the Puppeteer win." Elara nodded, her face set in a determined expression. Together, we lifted Dr. Orion's limp body and began our treacherous journey once more, driven by the hope that Elysium held, and the promise of a brighter future for Aethereia previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion embarked on a perilous quest to find the hidden enclave Elysium, facing rogue automatons, rival rebel factions, and the Puppeteer's minions, only to have Dr. Orion gravely injured and Scar deliver an ominous message, leaving Alex and Elara with a renewed sense of determination to push forward. As we stumbled through the dimly lit tunnels, Dr. Orion's lifeless body weighing heavily on our shoulders, I caught a glimpse of Elara's tear-stained face and my heart went out to her. We had to keep moving, no matter how hopeless the situation seemed. Suddenly, the silence was shattered by the sound of distant rumbling, and I instinctively raised my rifle, scanning our surroundings for any signs of danger. But as the rumbling grew louder, I realized that it wasn't a threat, it was an opportunity. The tunnel began to shake and the walls started to crack, as a massive section of the ruined city above us began to collapse. In the chaos, a hidden entrance to Elysium was revealed, illuminated by a faint blue glow. Without a second thought, we rushed towards the entrance, Dr. Orion's lifeless body slung over my shoulder as Elara covered our flank, rifle at the ready. We stumbled into the unknown, driven by the hope that Elysium held, and the promise of a brighter future for Aethereia. As we descended deeper into the heart of the ancient enclave, the air grew thick with an otherworldly energy, and I could feel the resonant frequency humming in the distance. We navigated through crumbling temples, avoiding deadly puzzles and harnessing the power of ancient artifacts to amplify our abilities. With each step forward, I could feel myself growing stronger, my resolve solidifying, and my conviction inspiring Elara to stand by me, Orion, even in the face of overwhelming danger. As we delved deeper into Elysium, we stumbled upon ancient texts etched onto walls and pillars, telling the story of Aethereia's forgotten past. The knowledge contained within those ancient texts shook me to my core as I realized the true extent of the Puppeteer's power and the price Aethereia paid for its harmony. But amidst the ancient ruins, we also found something more, a glimmer of hope, a hidden chamber filled with ancient technologies and relics of a long-lost era. In the center of the chamber, a pedestal held the ancient Aethereian artifact, capable of rebooting the planet's dormant harmonics. As I reached out to claim the artifact, a blinding light filled the room, and I felt myself being lifted off the ground. The artifact began to glow, and I felt its energy coursing through my veins. In that moment, I realized that I was meant to be the catalyst for Aethereia's harmonics, and that I had the power to bring hope back to the planet. But as the artifact's power surged through me, I knew that our journey was far from over. The artifact's energy was like a beacon, calling out to the Puppeteer's minions and alerting them to our presence in Elysium. We had to move, and fast, if we were to escape the enclave and bring the artifact's power to the rest of Aethereia. As we turned to leave the chamber, I caught Elara's gaze, and I knew that we were in this together, our bond forged in the heart of Elysium. We had finally found the key to Aethereia's revival, but we knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger, and that we would have to face the most daunting challenges yet to bring hope back to the planet. With the artifact in hand, we set out to escape Elysium and begin our journey to reclaim Aethereia back from the brink of destruction. But as we emerged from the ancient enclave, we were met with an ominous sight, a massive army of automatons, led by Scar, blocking our path previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion uncovered the hidden enclave Elysium, only to be met with Dr. Orion's grave injury and Scar's ominous message, but they pressed on, driven by determination and hope, and finally, they discovered the ancient Aethereian artifact capable of rebooting the planet's dormant harmonics. As we emerged from the ancient enclave, the ominous sight before us was like a punch to the gut. A sea of automatons, their cold, calculating eyes trained on us, stretched out as far as the eye could see. Scar, the Puppeteer's loyal minion, stood at the forefront, a cruel smile spreading across his face. "You fools," he spat, "you think you can defeat the Puppeteer. You think you can overthrow the order that has been established." My grip on the artifact tightened, its energy coursing through me like liquid fire. I knew that I had to stand tall, to be the rock that Elara and the entire planet could cling to. I raised my voice, my words echoing off the walls of the ruined city. "We're not going to back down, Scar. We're going to take Aethereia back, and we're going to bring hope back to the people." Elara stood beside me, her rifle at the ready, her eyes flashing with determination. Together we took a step forward, our footsteps like a call to arms. The automatons didn't move, didn't flinch. They were waiting for a command, waiting for Scar to give the order to attack. I knew that we had to act fast to outmaneuver Scar and his minions. I glanced at Elara and she nodded, understanding the unspoken plan. With a swift motion, I raised the artifact and its energy burst forth, like a beacon of light in the darkness. The resonance frequency hummed, growing louder as the artifact began to connect with the dormant harmonics of the planet. The effect was immediate. The automatons, once frozen in place, began to falter, their movements becoming slow and jerky. Scar's eyes widened in shock, and for a moment I saw a glimmer of uncertainty. Elara took advantage of the opening, firing her rifle, and the blast sent Scar stumbling back. We didn't hesitate. We charged forward, the artifact's energy propelling us forward. We carved a path through the automatons, Elara covering our flank as we battled our way through the ruined city. With every step, I could feel the artifact's power growing, its connection to the planet's harmonics strengthening. As we fought on, I knew that we were rewriting the destiny of Aethereia. We were kindling a spark of hope in the darkness, and that spark would soon become a beacon, illuminating a path forward for the entire planet. But even as victory seemed within our grasp, a new threat emerged. From the shadows, a figure emerged, her eyes blazing with an otherworldly energy. "You shouldn't have come here," she spat, her voice like venom. "You shouldn't have meddled in the affairs of the Puppeteer." I raised the artifact, its energy coursing through me like liquid fire. "We're not going to back down," I growled, my voice echoing off the walls of the ruined city. "We're going to take Aethereia back, and we're going to bring hope back to the people." The figure smiled, her eyes flashing with amusement. "You think you can defeat me?" she taunted. "I am the Puppeteer's most powerful minion. I am the one who will crush the last spark of hope in this planet." I steeled myself, my grip on the artifact tightening. I knew that this was the moment of truth. This was the moment when the fate of Aethereia would be decided. With a fierce cry, I charged forward, the artifact's energy coursing through me like a raging storm previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion discovered the hidden Aethereian artifact, but Scar's ominous message and Dr. Orion's grave injury left them shaken. Still, they stood strong, driven by determination and hope. As I charged forward, the artifact's energy erupting like a raging storm, the mysterious minion's eyes flashed with amusement. Her smile grew, and I knew I was in for the fight of my life. The air crackled with electricity as I clashed with the minion, our movements lightning fast, our blows thunderous. Elara provided cover, her rifle firing precision shots that kept the automatons at a safe distance. But this minion was different. She was like a force of nature, unpredictable and deadly. Her powers were unlike anything I'd seen before. She could manipulate the environment, summoning walls of flame and conjuring massive rocks to block my path. The artifact's energy, however, allowed me to counter her attacks, neutralizing the environmental threats. As we battled, I began to notice subtle changes in the environment. The air seemed cleaner, the sky a shade brighter. The artifact's connection to the dormant harmonics was having a profound impact on the planet. The thought galvanized me. This was why I'd fought so hard. This was why I'd risked everything. In a burst of adrenaline, I surged forward, the artifact-infused energy coursing through me like a rocket. The minion stumbled back, her eyes widening as I unleashed a devastating combination of attacks. For a fleeting moment, I saw fear in her eyes, fear that I might actually win. That was all the opening I needed. With a Herculean effort, I pinned the artifact's energy to the minion's chest. A blast of radiant energy enveloped her, and for an instant her form wavered as if reality itself had been altered. When the light faded, the minion was gone. In her place stood a statue of crystalline stone, frozen in a perpetual pose of defiance. The air vibrated with the artifact's hum, now a harmonious symphony with the planet's awakening harmonics. As I stood panting, Elara approached me, her eyes shining with a mix of awe and concern. "Alex, what just happened?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I turned to face her, the artifact still humming in my hand. "I think we just changed the course of Aethereia's history." The silence that followed was heavy with the weight of our achievements. We'd taken the first steps towards a brighter future, but at what cost? Dr. Orion's injury, Elara's concerns, and the lingering menace of Scar and the Puppeteer's minions all reminded us that there was still much work to be done. As we stood there, bathed in the artifact's radiance, I knew that this was only the beginning. We had kindled a spark of hope, and now it was up to us to fan the flames of resistance, to inspire others to join us in our fight against the Puppeteer's oppressive regime. A glimmer of determination flickered in Elara's hand, reached out, and I grasped it firmly. Together, we gazed out upon the horizon, the artifact's energy pulsing like a heartbeat. In that moment, I knew that as long as we stood together, nothing could stand in the way of our vision for a brighter Aethereia previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion unleashed the Aethereian artifact's energy, changing the course of Aethereia's history. However, Dr. Orion's grave injury and Scar's message loomed over them, a constant reminder of the Puppeteer's oppressive regime. As I gazed out at the horizon, the artifact's pulsing energy a beacon of hope, a faint signal echoed through the comms device. Nova's voice, laced with urgency, whispered a single phrase, "Alex, Thayer coming for you." My heart skipped a beat as Elara's grip on my hand tightened. Dr. Orion's eyes locked onto mine, a deep understanding passing between us. We knew the stakes had just escalated. "What do you mean, Nova?" I asked, my voice low and even, trying to process the implications. "The Puppeteer's minions are mobilizing," Nova replied, her words laced with a sense of desperation. "They know what you've achieved, and they'll stop at nothing to crush the spark of resistance. You need to get moving, Alex, now." I didn't need to glance at Elara or Dr. Orion to know we were in this together. With the artifact's energy still coursing through me, I made a decision that would change the course of our journey. "Nova, we're on our way. We'll find a way to protect ourselves and keep the spark alive." Elara nodded, her rifle at the ready. Dr. Orion, despite his injury, gave a curt nod, his determination evident. With the weight of Nova's warning, we set out into the unknown, the artifact's energy guiding our path. We'd face new challenges, confront rival rebel factions, and navigate treacherous tunnels, but we'd do it together, driven by a burning need to unravel the mysteries of Aethereia's forgotten past. As we ventured into the unknown, the artifact's hum grew louder, illuminating a path forward, forging a beacon of light in the darkness that threatened to consume us previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion unleashed the ancient Aethereian artifact, rebooting Aethereia's dormant harmonics, but Nova's urgent warning foreshadowed the impending arrival of the Puppeteer's minions, threatening to crush the fledgling resistance. "We're being pursued," I whispered, gazing over my shoulder as Elara navigated the cramped tunnel. The air reeked of decay, and the flickering luminescent fungi cast eerie silhouettes around us. "We need to find a secure location to regroup and treat Dr. Orion's injuries." Elara nodded, her rifle at the ready. "I've got a possible hideout in mind. It's an abandoned automaton factory, approximately 2 kilometers east." Dr. Orion's face twisted in pain as he stumbled forward, his eyes fixed on the comms device. "Alex, I've been tracking the resonant frequency. It's shifting, adapting to our movements. We need to find a way to harness its power or risk being overwhelmed by the Puppeteer's forces." The tunnel's walls began to close in around us as the sound of distant machinery echoed through the passages. The ground trembled beneath our feet as automated sentries, reactivated by the artifact's energy, gave chase. We burst through the factory's rusted doors, and Elara swiftly deployed a makeshift barricade. We'd barely caught our breath when the factory's mainframe crackled to life, spewing out a torrent of encoded data. Dr. Orion's eyes widened as he frantically worked to decipher the code, his fingers flying across the console's interface. "Guys, I think I've cracked it," he exclaimed, his exhaustion forgotten. This factory was once a hub for Aethereian research into harmonics and resonance. There's a hidden research facility beneath us, containing ancient texts and innovative technologies that could. Dr. Orion's words were cut short as the factory's walls began to shudder, the sentries closing in on our position. Elara and I exchanged a grim glance. We knew the drill all too well. We geared up, ready to face whatever lay beneath our feet, driven by an unyielding need to unravel Aethereia's forgotten past and spark a beacon of hope in the darkness. The journey's transformative power was far from over, and we were ready to ignite the fire that would guide Aethereia towards a brighter future. Previously, Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion narrowly escaped the automaton factory, uncovering a hidden research facility beneath, where ancient texts and innovative breakthroughs awaited. As they delved deeper, the looming threat of the Puppeteer's minions drew near. As we descended into the heart of the research facility, the air thickened with the scent of ozone and forgotten dreams. Flickering fluorescent lights cast an eerie glow, and the hum of ancient machinery whispered secrets in our ears. Dr. Orion's eyes sparkled like a kid on a treasure hunt, his fingers dancing across the console as he accessed the facility's archives. "Guys, I've found it," he whispered, his voice trembling with excitement. "The ancient Aethereians developed a technology that can amplify our abilities, allowing us to harness the resonant frequency." And suddenly, the facility's alarms blared and the lights flickered wildly. The hum of machinery morphed into a menacing growl and the walls began to close in around us. Elara's rifle snapped up, her eyes scanning the darkness for any sign of movement. "What's going on?" I asked, my heart pounding in my chest as Dr. Orion frigidly worked to override the security protocols. "I think we've triggered a failsafe," he replied, his voice laced with urgency. "The facility's going into lockdown. We need to find a way to disable the security measures before." A deafening crash shook the facility, and the walls began to buckle. Elara grabbed my arm and we sprinted towards the nearest door, Dr. Orion hot on our heels. We burst through the exit just as the facility began to self-destruct, the ancient machinery imploding in a blaze of fire and light. As we emerged into the open air, we stumbled upon a makeshift rebel encampment, its inhabitants huddled around a roaring fire. They were a mix of rogue automatons and rebels, united by a common goal to bring down the Puppeteer. As we approached, a hooded figure stepped forward, its eyes glowing like embers. "You're the ones who've been stirring up trouble," the figure said, its voice husky. "I'm Riven, leader of this little band. We've been waiting for you, Alex. You've got a reputation for being reckless and resourceful. We need people like that in our fight against the Puppeteer." Elara tensed, her rifle still at the ready. Dr. Orion's eyes darted between Riven and me. I took a deep breath, weighing our options. We'd come too far to turn back now. "Tell me, Riven, what do you propose?" I asked, my heart pounding with anticipation. A slow, mirthless smile crept onto Riven's face. "We've got a plan to infiltrate the Puppeteer's stronghold. We need someone with your unique skills to help us get inside." I exchanged a glance with Elara and Dr. Orion. We knew the risks, but the potential reward was too great to ignore. We nodded and Riven nodded in response. "Welcome to the Resistance, Alex," Riven said, extending a hand. "Together, we'll bring down the Puppeteer and shatter the transmission's hold on Aethereia." As we shook hands, a spark of defiance flashed in Riven's eyes, a spark that ignited a fire within me. For the first time, I felt like I was part of something greater than just a quest to uncover Aethereia's secrets. I felt like I was born previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion triggered a failsafe in the hidden research facility, barely escaping with their lives. They stumbled upon a rebel encampment where they met Riven, the leader, who proposed infiltrating the Puppeteer's stronghold. As I gazed up at the stars, the weight of my newfound responsibility threatened to crush me. But Riven's words echoed in my mind. "Welcome to the resistance, Alex." I took a deep breath, the spark of defiance igniting a fire within me. This was no longer just about uncovering Aethereia's secrets. It was about being part of something greater than myself. Riven led us deeper into the rebel base, a labyrinth of tunnels and cramped quarters. The air reeked of smoke and desperation. We passed by automatons with mismatched limbs, rebels with scarred faces, and whispers of a legendary figure known only as the Architect. It was said that the Architect had designed the original Aethereian infrastructure and held the secrets of the planet's harmonics. As we walked, Elara leaned in, her voice barely audible. "Alex, I don't trust Riven. We don't know what his true motives are." I nodded, my eyes scanning the shadows. "We need to be cautious, but we can't afford to turn our backs on potential allies. Not yet." Dr. Orion, sensing our unease, squeezed my shoulder. "We've come this far, Alex. We can't let fear hold us back." Riven halted in front of a heavily fortified door. "This is it, Alex. This is where we'll plan our infiltration. But first, I need to show you something." The door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit chamber filled with rows of ancient terminals. In the center of the room, a holographic display flickered to life, projecting a 3D image of the Puppeteer's stronghold. "Behold, the citadel of echoes," Riven whispered, his eyes gleaming with determination. "This is where the Puppeteer holds court, and this is where we'll strike our final blow." As Riven began to outline the plan, a faint tremor ran through the chamber, as if the very foundations of the rebel base were shifting. Elara's grip on her rifle tightened, her gaze darting toward the exits. Dr. Orion's eyes widened, his mind racing with calculations. I felt it too, a growing sense of unease that something was very wrong. Suddenly, the terminals flickered and a low hum filled the air. Riven's eyes locked onto mine. "It started. The Puppeteer's minions are moving. We need to get into position now." The room erupted into chaos, rebels scrambling to gather gear, automatons powering up, and the sound of distant explosions growing louder. I felt the weight of the world on my shoulders, but I knew I couldn't afford to falter. "Not now." "Let's do this," I said, my voice steady, my heart pounding with determination. "It's time to bring down the Puppeteer and shatter the transmission's hold on Aethereia." As we rushed out of the room, the hum of the ancient machinery grew louder, and I felt the resonance frequency pulsing through my veins. I knew that this was just the beginning of the end, and I was ready to face whatever lay ahead previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion had triggered a failsafe in the hidden research facility, barely escaping with their lives, and stumbled upon a rebel encampment where they met Riven, the leader, who proposed infiltrating the Puppeteer's stronghold. Now, as they prepared to breach the citadel of echoes, the fate of Aethereia hung in the balance. As we descended into the heart of the citadel, the air thickened with tension. Elara's rifle was at the ready. Dr. Orion's eyes darted between the ancient terminals, and I felt the resonance frequency coursing through my veins like a battle cry. Riven led the way, his footsteps light on the polished floor. We navigated a labyrinth of narrow corridors, ducking beneath whirring blades and sidestepping treacherous pitfalls. The walls seemed to whisper secrets, ancient symbols flashing in the dim light. Dr. Orion's eyes gleamed with awe, his mind racing to unlock the secrets of the ancient technology. Suddenly, a squadron of automatons burst from the shadows, their cold, calculating eyes fixed on us. Elara took point, her rifle blazing with precision, while Dr. Orion and Riven worked in tandem, hacking into the automaton systems and disabling them. As we pushed deeper, the silence grew more oppressive, the weight of the citadel's ancient power palpable. Riven gestured to a door, his eyes locked on mine. "This is it, Alex. This is where the Puppeteer holds court." I steeled myself, my heart pounding with determination. This was at the moment of truth. With a deep breath, I pushed forward, Riven and Elara flanking me, Dr. Orion covering our rear. The chamber beyond was a shrine to the Puppeteer's madness. Ancient artifacts hung from the walls, their power thrumming in harmony with the resonance frequency. In the center, the Puppeteer itself, its twisted form a mockery of Aethereia's ancient glory. Its cold, calculating eyes fixed on me, its voice dripping with malevolent intent. "Welcome, Alex," it hissed. "I've been waiting for you. You're just in time to witness the final act of my symphony." With a wave of its hand, the walls erupted in a blaze of light and sound, the citadel's ancient machinery roaring to life. The resonance frequency reached a fever pitch, my veins throbbing with the power of Aethereia itself. In that moment, I knew what I had to do. With a cry of defiance, I reached out, the resonance frequency surging through me like a river of fire. I felt Elara and Dr. Orion beside me, their bond and determination forging a beacon of light in the darkness. Together, we unleashed the full fury of Aethereia's harmonics, shattering the transmission's hold on the surface. The citadel trembled, its walls crackling under the onslaught of ancient power. The Puppeteer's form began to distort, its madness consumed by the raw energy coursing through me. As the transmission snapped, the darkness receded, Aethereia's forgotten past flooding back into the light. I felt the weight of my newfound leadership, my vision for a new era of hope and resilience illuminating the path forward. In the silence that followed, we stood united, our bond forged in the heart of the citadel. Elara's hand found mine, her eyes shining with a newfound respect. Dr. Orion smiled, his eyes aglow with wonder. Riven nodded, his leadership ceded to me, the champion of hope. As we emerged into the bright, newly freed world, the stars shining down upon us, I felt a profound sense of transformation. Aethereia's forgotten past had given me a new future, one where I would stand as a beacon of light, guiding the planet toward a brighter tomorrow. Epilogue. As we walked away from the citadel's ruins, the sound of distant celebrations echoed across the newly freed surface. I felt the weight of my newfound responsibility, but I knew that I was no longer alone. Elara, Dr. Orion, and Riven stood beside me, a new era of cooperation and hope dawning. I gazed up at the stars, the resonance frequency still pulsing through my veins. Aethereia's forgotten past had given me a new future, one where I would stand as a beacon of light, guiding the planet toward a brighter tomorrow. And as I smiled, the spark of resistance ignited, forging a new path forward. I knew that I would always stand vigilant, ready to defend the light that had given me so much.